pistol braces, flamethrowers. And the ATF is trying to ruin my ability to LARP as a suppressed revolver wielding assassin. I've got a letter here from the ATF that nobody else has yet. None of the other 2A news channels or anybody else has this. So we're going to break this down here in just a little bit. So yeah, let's go ahead and flick out this pistol brace just as a win. So yeah, the other channels have covered the pistol brace ruling ad nauseum, so I am not going to. But it is a cool day when what was a felony is no longer a felony. So now, what have we dressed this thing up with? Of course, we've got our little SB 1913 there. We've got a Pulse Fire Plus. This is the UBF from Exothermic Tech. I've had a great deal of fun with this Exothermic Tech flamethrower, gone around and blasted all sorts of stuff. My kids love it. I enjoy it. And of course, Exothermic Tech, they decided to give me a code ACC20. You get 20% off of your accessories when you purchase the flamethrower. Since it's not a firearm, I can actually link to it below. Of course, we've got a Foxtrot mic upper here. This Foxtrot mic upper is self-contained, it's bufferless, and it's side charging, so that's pretty cool. Right here on muzzle duty, I have got a Whip Machine SME. I'm sure you guys remember my buddy Rob that likes to lick my face.
Look, zoom in on his face. It's still shiny and clean. It's almost lickable, but I won't go there for the moment.
Well, we've got that Whip Machine SME there. It's a very effective 3-chamber muzzle brake with a removable shroud. I was having a lot of fun messing with the guys when I was training, especially Pete. Pete, if you're following, I would take that brake and I would spin the shroud off and let it hit the ground, and then suddenly I was just boo, 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 just neighbor hating. But yeah, this thing is a very effective brake. It works really well. But now let's go ahead and get into what we're here for. Right here, I have got a letter from the ATF. This is from the Firearms Technology Industry Services Branch, the FTISB. Some time ago, I had done a couple of videos, got millions of views on the revolver seal. So I had a prototype suppressed revolver. Well, the ATF is always liking to ruin anybody's fun. Of course, this thing right here, none of the other channels are going to have this. Guns and Gadgets have got this yet, or anybody. You saw it here first. So what we got here is the FTISB has determined the submitted revolver seal is a device for silencing, muffling, or diminishing the report of a portable firearm, including any combination of parts designed or redesigned or intended for use in assembling or fabricating a firearm silencer or muffler, and any intended part for use in such assembly or fabrication. Therefore, the submitted sample is a firearm silencer as defined in the GCA, as a firearm and defined in the NFA. So if we've ever made an argument that certain laws need to be sunset, this is it. So the GCA of 1968 and the NFA. So if they call a pair of machined aluminum earmuffs, that's what these things are. They're just little cups that go on the side of the revolver. If they're calling them a firearm, well, deer season's starting up soon. Literally, it's about to be rifle season. So if this is a firearm, I should be able to take those aluminum earmuffs and go out into the woods and claim the life of a deer with it, right? Should be able to take down a whitetail. So yeah, that is pretty daggum ignorant. So it goes on and it says the GCA Act of 1968 defines the term of firearm as any weapon, including a starter gun, which will or is designed to be readily converted to expel a projectile by action of an explosive, the frame or receiver of any such weapon, any firearm muffler or firearm silencer, any destructive device. Such term does not include an antique firearm. So they have some evaluation here. The ATF has a long history of looking at the design features of a particular item when determining whether an item is a firearm silencer under federal law, including whether it has design features of a part designed to be used in a firearm silencer. So I don't really see this as being a firearm silencer. What I consider this is a safety device. The safety device is basically going to keep the cylinder gap. They talk about the cylinder gap here just a little bit. but it's going to keep the cylinder gap from spitting any gunpowder, any lead, any other type of nasty things to come out. So yeah, it's more or less a safety device and not really the silencer itself. So as a background, there are generally 3 audible elements attributable to a firearm in operation: the report of the gases expelling from the muzzle blast, the sound of the bullet in flight, sonic crack, and the sound of the firearm action. Firearm silencers are designed to reduce only one of these elements, the report of the gases expelling from the muzzle. However, a revolver traditionally has an additional audible element, the gases expelling from the barrel cylinder gap, BC gap. The report of a firearm is mostly the consequence of superheated high-pressure propellant gases being rapidly released into the atmosphere, also known as uncorking. The slowing, cooling, or redirection of gases when using a silencer creates an audible reduction in sound when the gases exit or uncork. So, you know, they're going on and they're talking about the expansion chamber. So what they're ultimately going to do in this is they're going to argue that the revolver seal is an expansion chamber. So baffles or monolithic baffle core in firearm silencers are designed to slow, create turbulence in, or redirect the flow of hot propellant gases depending on the baffle's particular design features. Further, baffles can be used to segregate a long expansion chamber to create multiple smaller expansion chambers of various sizes by stacking several baffles together or by the use of spacers between baffles. The submitted revolver seal, when attached, allows traditionally designed silencers to work and function as designed when attached to the muzzle of the revolver. So they're going to keep going on and explaining how they feel that it is a blast chamber. Right here we've got test 1 results. So during their testing, what they wound up doing, they listed that they used CCI brand standard velocity 22 long rifle caliber ammunition, which I found when I was working with it that the standard velocity was okay-ish. It seemed like the CCI quiets were just a little bit better working with it. You know, it's just because those revolver frames, you can't completely seal them off. You know, they've got little holes and places and crevices like where the hammer goes into the frame and stuff like that, that the actual gases will come out of. So it's not 100% sealed off. But test 1 results. Heritage revolver, nothing attached. 5-shot average, 155.35 decibels. Heritage revolver with revolver seal attached, 144.65 decibels. The average sound reduction recorded was 10.70 decibels. This test result demonstrates the submitted sample does function as a device for silencing, muffling, or diminishing the report of a portable firearm. Test 2 results. The second test included the submitted device along with the silencer that they used. So Heritage revolver with revolver seal attached, 5-shot average, 144.03. Heritage revolver with revolver seal and the silencer attached. So this is actually threading a suppressor onto the end of it. 130.88, which is very respectable. You know, that's nice and quiet. The average sound reduction recorded was 13.15 decibels. This test results demonstrates the submitted device does function as a combination of parts, designed or redesigned, blah, blah, blah. Is actually reduced 24.47 decibels. So that was from 155.35 to 130.88. So then they did a test 3 results. Basically, it was just the Heritage revolver with nothing attached, so no revolver seal, and then the silencer attached. So basically what you wound up with was putting the suppressor on the end of that Heritage, the BC, the cylinder gap, is basically just causing all of that thing to bark. There is no difference whether you have a suppressor on there or not. So anyway, they keep continuing to further their argument here. I'll put all this up. You can pause it at any time. They go on to talk about the Mosin Nagant is a firearm designed with a cylinder that seals the gap between the barrel and cylinder gap by pushing the cylinder forward, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, they're further going on by listing the Nagant. So here what they've got is their conclusion. During the evaluation of the submitted revolver seal, FTISB has determined the submitted sample is a device designed and intended for silencing, muffling, blah, blah, blah. So therefore, the submitted revolver seal is a firearm silencer as defined by the GCA And furthermore, it is also a firearm as defined in the NFA. So what they're going on is they said that, it is violation of the NFA to be in possession of a firearm that is not registered to the possessor. Similarly, the transport, delivery, or receiving of an improperly or unregistered NFA firearm is unlawful and would be in violation of blah, blah, blah. So since it's unlawful to possess, transport, deliver, or receive an unregistered NFA firearm, they're going to keep his revolver seal. But however, the submitted Heritage Model Rough Rider will be returned under separate cover. So yeah, they went ahead and gave him back his pistol, but they kept his aluminum earmuffs, a safety device. So what Bryce is wanting to do, Bryce is the patent holder for the revolver seal. He's wanting to try to find some type of lawyer that can try to make his argument that at the very least, this is a safety device, that it's not a suppressor. So I don't really know how to handle that. You know, if you were to get the revolver seal, it would need to be serialized. Would it share the same serial number as your suppressor? Or would you have to go through the NFA and register this thing as a separate firearm silencer? So would that be an extra tax stamp? Would you have to have 2 tax stamps to suppress a revolver? I'm not sure, but I know George Washington would have just been like, yep, no, this is not what we intended. This is not what we wrote this for. Literally, the Second Amendment is the only amendment that says shall not be infringed. So I'm just curious, how far do we have to take this? You know, at what point do we disband the ATF? At what point does the NFA finally fall? There are many arguments that can be made for sunset laws. Laws that are just absolutely just archaic, old, let it sunset, let it go away. I mean, just in the simple fact that even before inflation, this inflation was so bad, the $200 tax stamp way back then was the equivalent of $10,300. And then, of course, the last 3 years have happened. How much is that now? Is that like 15 grand? You know, that 7% inflation number, I kind of feel that that's a little fudged. But anyway, you guys make sure to check out the affiliate links down below. Of course, go check out Exothermic Tech. Huge thanks to those guys for sponsoring today's video. I've got a code down below that'll save you some cash. Of course, I've got a video down below that kind of went wildly unwatched. So if you could, go help me out and check it out over there. And anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. I love you, and I don't love this freaking letter. I guess we'll have to console myself with my pistol brace. Y'all take care.